Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie and I'm a nerdy flute player, which means I do flute covers of video game, TV, film, anime, music, and if all of that sounds interesting, I will leave a link up in the cards as well as a link in the description below where you can find all of my cover song music videos. Also in the description below will be links to all of the streaming services so you can stream even more of my music. I am also a Twitch streamer. You can find me streaming over on twitch.tv/KatieShesko. I do games such as Breath of the Wild bingos and Nier, and I'm working on a playthrough of The Witcher 3 as well as board games. So if all of that interests you, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all of the YouTubey things. And yeah, let's get into today's video. This is the first video I'm recording since getting monetized here on YouTube. So I just want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers and everyone who has been watching all of my videos. Your support truly means the world to me. I never thought I would reach this milestone, and I have this year. So thank you again for all of that. Today's reaction is LoveBites Swan song plus the Chopin intro, and this was recorded on February 21st of 2020, so pre the world exploding essentially. This was suggested by one of my patrons, S.E. Herskowitz. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I try my best. So yeah, if you want to get your song reactions as a top priority, please consider becoming a patron, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But for now, let's dive into this reaction. I'm told that this is a Japanese female techno band, and that's all I know of it. I've never heard of this band before, so I'm very interested in this. It sounds fascinating with, like they said, or like the intro says, a Chopin intro. So throwing classical elements in, and I love classical music elements thrown into rock, other genres, makes it very interesting. So let's go ahead and dive in. And as is customary, we will watch the whole video in full. I will not pause. I will give some initial comments and reactions over top of it, and then we'll go back and we will do a deep analysis of it. So let's get started. Gorgeous playing. I'm always impressed with piano players. I can't play piano. So intense. But how fluid her fingers are is just amazing. And I love just the spotlight on her with the rest of the stage being dark. Oh, that was amazing. I'm thoroughly impressed. Oh. I'm digging this vibe already. I love like the Greek goddess-esque costuming.
Words to last
Oh, I'm really digging the vibe. I love her voice. Oh, so we're getting like the Viking Norse pagan in there. I'm really enjoying this. Oh, like those really fast, like, bass hits. Oh, watching her fingers. My fingers are hurting just watching. Fantastic drummer, too. So not only is she a fantastic piano player, she's a fantastic guitar player too. Of course. Wow. What a guitar riff. I'm in shock and awe by like these guitar riffs. And even the other guitar player too. Fantastic. I'm loving this riff. I love how like the audience is itself a choir almost. And then she jumped right back to the piano. What the heck? I love that though. Wow. That was really cool. I really liked the starting with the very classical intro and then going into like our hard rock, but it was almost like a ballad. It was, I mean, it talks about Valhalla, which is very Norse. Their costumes definitely reminded me of like Grecian goddesses. Oh, and the lyrics definitely reminded me of like an ancient poem that you would talk of, like soldiers, kind of things that you would say to soldiers before they're going into battle to kind of be like, this is an honorable thing to do. So it had a lot of those different elements kind of all melded into one song. And I love that about music, how you can take all of these various elements and just throw them together, and it usually just it becomes magical. I love it. I love it. So let's go back and really dive in. So because of how I typically do my reactions, where I watch the full video without stopping, I do tend to get copyright claimed on my videos. So if you like this kind of content, please consider supporting me over on Patreon, patreon.com/KatieShesko. My lowest tier is $2 a month. You get access to behind the scenes, my monthly update. You'll get a sneak peek as to what reactions will be coming up and scheduled. Any reactions that don't make it to YouTube will be posted on Patreon as well. And if you make a suggestion for a reaction, I move it to the top of my reaction list. So if there's something that you're dying for me to react to, please consider becoming a patron and suggesting it over there, as well as you're supporting me and my music and my content. So yeah, definitely consider that. Now, this is the part where I tend to stop and pause a lot to really delve into these pieces. So yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right in. All right, so upon quick research, this piano solo is Etude number 10, or I'm sorry, is Etude Opus 10 number 12. So it's an etude. A lot of people think etudes are as not real songs, that you do them because your teachers tell you to play them and they're supposed to make you a better musician. But some etudes can really sound like just so musical and amazing just by themselves. So never write off an etude. Learn your etudes, musicians, you know, learn your etudes, students. Some of them are absolutely gorgeous, and I have not had the opportunity to perform any etudes, but flute etudes are the same way. Some of them are just absolutely stunning in of themselves. So this is a Chopin etude. I do not play piano. I have never played piano. I'm always amazed at piano players because my fingers can't move that fast and my brain can't think that fast. So I'm always impressed. So now let's start listening. So kind of looking at her fingers and what she's doing and what I'm hearing of the music, it definitely, now that I know it's an etude, I definitely hear the etude qualities. There's a lot of synchronous movements with both of her hands going down the piano. That's very reminiscent of my kids play piano. And, you know, there's a lot of exercises where they're moving their fingers at the same time, kind of doing the same thing and moving up and down the piano. So it makes sense that like something a little bit more complicated would be in this etude as well. And some of the hits definitely are reminiscent of things that you would put in an etude to have someone learn those specific techniques so that when they see it in repertoire later on, it's more familiar to them. I really like this bass theme. I really like that. So I like it when it comes back throughout the etude. That's really, really cool. Yeah, I really liked that part. That's all I really needed to say there. And I really like how like these chording hits on the top hand are juxtaposed against that. in kind of ways that you wouldn't necessarily think. It doesn't feel like so regimented on the beat. It seems like it's slightly off, and I really like that. It adds a really cool dimension and layer to it. So yeah, I just really like that. Again, I can't really comment on piano playing so much, just the little tiny bit that I know and what I help my kids with their learning and when they're practicing. So and I just want to comment like how these runs are so even. Her fingers are so fluid that like you're not feeling any hiccups, you're not feeling any missed notes, you're not feeling like extra notes added in, which sometimes happens if you're trying to move your fingers really fast. It's just so smooth, even, and yeah, it's so well done. She's a fantastic piano player, because classical piano stuff is not easy. And yeah, it's just stunning piano work. There's not much more to say other than it's stunning and so well done. And how she just like stops and is like picks up her guitar pick and is just ready to go. Love it. Like that has to be such a mind shift too, going from piano to guitar. They're very different instruments, even though they're both primarily played using strings. They're very different instruments and very different, going from very classical to very rock in a matter of 10 seconds is it's amazing musician that you can switch your brain that fast to go from two different things like that. And I really like how they spotlight her for that. And then we get into, it's just completely pitch black before we get into the Swan song. And here we kind of hear that same motif that we heard on the piano, now in guitar form, now in multiple guitar form. And I really like that. That's really cool that, we had this very classical piece, and now you kind of hear the inspiration in this song with like those running, I don't think they're quite arpeggios, they might be, but like, these running lines. Da, 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 da. And here with the guitar, it's a little bit more smooth. Before, when we were hearing it on the piano, we had like a strong downbeat before it went into it. And here it's a little bit more even, which is very just reminiscent of rock guitar, in a rock song, that like these guitar runs are a little bit more even. You don't always have a whole like a huge, big accented downbeat. And I think that's partially because like with the instrumentation, when you have guitars and drums, you can kind of have those downbeats emphasized with the drums, whereas if you're a solo piano player, you kind of have to make that pseudo drum hit yourself. So, but you can definitely hear the inspiration from the piano etude into the beginning of the song, and I love it. I love when you take that inspiration from classical and throw it into rock or any other genre. It's just, I love this kind of stuff. It just makes my little geek heart sing. And I really like their stage presence. I love that it's an all-female group. You don't see that very often, especially in the rock genre. So I love that as a female musician myself. I love to see more female representation. And they're all really good musicians. Like, I love the drum player. Obviously, we saw the piano player jumping on guitar and doing the same essential riff on the guitar. And it's just stunning there as well. And I love how, like, their costumes are similar but different. I'm sure each one has the personality of the musician. I don't know enough about this band or about the individual musicians to like comment specifically, but I would imagine that It's just kind of like, okay, Greco goddess, like how would you envision that for a costume? And I love how like each one has those same elements of the mostly white with the gold accents, but they're all very different, and I'm sure that lends to all of their personalities, and it makes just a really cool stage presence. So I love this. Also, walking and doing this in high heels, props, because I don't think I could do it. They're all in heels from what I can see. Like, I know I said this in my Nightwish video, which is on my Patreon, because it got hit in too many countries for YouTube. But on my Nightwish video, which is on Patreon, I was just commenting, like, playing in high heels, like, kudos, because I've done some heels for music videos, but for a music video, if my playing isn't great, it's fine, because we use the studio version for the music video. So you're not actually hearing me play live on a music video. So if I, you know, mess up a note or things just go horribly wrong in a music video filming, it's fine. But live performance can't do that. You got to be on for the live performance. So I love this. I love that they're doing it in heels. That's major props to them, because balancing on heels, not easy. And I really like her voice. She can tell, like, she's singing it in English, but she still has that kind of Japanese accent to it. And I love that. I'm a sucker for a good accent. What can I say? I'm American. There's, you know, very few accents here. So I love accents, and I love when people sing with an accent. So like hearing her singing this in English with her Japanese accent, it lends itself really well to like the blending that we're seeing going on in this song. Like I said, these costumes remind me of Greek goddesses. The classical piano Chopin was German. Chopin was Polish. Like I said, Chopin primarily wrote for piano, so I'm not as familiar with him as a composer. So Chopin was Polish, and, you know, they're Japanese, and they're singing about warriors and Valhalla, which is very Norse. So it's just like this beautiful blending of so many different cultures and traditions and influences, and has this very beautiful ballad poem of a song. Yeah, I really like it. The lighting really adds to it. It's amazing. I like how, like, during the verse, they had a little bit more of the flashing lights, and now that we're kind of like in this pre-chorus part, it's just more of a steady light with the spotlight on the singer. And yeah, the lighting is just working really, really well. And here I like this kind of setup, because like you get to see like how much gear is actually involved for a live show. And this is partially why I don't do live shows, because I don't have the necessary gear to do a live show. But you can see like the drummer has a fan. She's got like a mixer board. She's got her water bottles because you gotta stay hydrated. She has a lot of cymbals, which are really cool. There's a lot of different cymbals. My brother played drums, so I'm somewhat familiar with sets and stuff, but I don't think he had this many cymbals. I think he had just a couple. But yeah, just the cymbals, and like even all the guitar players have their whole squad of electronics to go behind it. So I really like this, because you kind of get like a musician's eye view of everything, and to kind of see what it's like to be on stage and playing to a crowd. I don't think I've ever played to a crowd quite this big in any of my community band concert performances, or even any of like when I was in college, my band performances. But to see a crowd this big to be there to hear your music, I'm sure is such an amazing feeling. So like I think they do have somewhat of a backtrack going on, because I'm hearing a piano and I'm really liking that added piano sound to this. I'm not seeing someone playing the piano right now. Might just be the camera angles. But I love how this running piano is going on in the background, kind of tying the classical with the rock. It's just really cool. I really like it. Stuff like that, like I said, just makes my geeky heart smile, because it's merging, you know, the two parts of me where I am partially classically trained, taking private lessons and stuff, but I also really like rock music. So when I can merge those together, it's always a good day. So hearing bands do that just makes my heart happy. So yeah, like these, you know, these guitar parts kind of dueling and going in and out, and the guitar riffs are just really cool. And I really like whoever put this video together. I think they're doing a really good job of featuring like the whole band, and then kind of getting these really cool close-up shots of the drummer. And we saw in that last shot that I paused on, where there was like, I think 3 or 4 different cameras just on the drummer, because like it just, so many cool angles you can get of a drummer. And yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. Yeah, I think she's a fantastic singer. She has a nice range on her. She has a really strong voice. It's very even and toned, and I could definitely hear the Japanese accent, and I think it's adorable. I love it so much. And it's just, yeah, she's just a very strong vocalist. I'm enjoying her voice. So before we get into the guitar riff, yeah, her voice is really good. I really like her vibrato, and her range is just like, it lends itself so well to a female rock band. I just love it so much. And this guitar solo is just fabulous. I just, yeah, the guitar, that portion right there was just fabulous. Fabulous, flawless. Every note was just so like well articulated, and it was clean and crisp, and you didn't really, sometimes when you're playing guitar and you don't have your fingers, you know, they drag across the strings a little bit, and you kind of get that feedback. It was just also clean, so clean. I loved it. And now we're getting into the other guitar player, and like this guitar duet, fantastic. Yeah, this little guitar duet, fantastic. They were perfectly in sync, and they're not even near each other, so sometimes when you can't quite feel the energy of the person next to you, it can be hard to make sure that you're in sync. But that little, it was perfectly done. It was just perfectly done. They're stunning, amazing musicians. Really, really cool. I don't understand how the hitting of the strings up on the neck of the guitar works. I don't play guitar, but it's it just sounds really cool and it looks really cool. It just looks really cool. And that's what you're here for. You're at a live performance, and anything that just looks really cool, you should always do. I'm sure it serves a very specific purpose. What that purpose is, I don't know. If you're a guitar player, feel free to explain it to me below. I love learning about that kind of stuff, but it just looks really cool. So I enjoy it purely for that reason. It looks really cool because, like, how do you know? How do you know, like, what to hit and where to go? And I'm sure it takes practice to hit it just right so that it works right. The lighting, again, the lighting in this stage performance has been so good. It's just really emphasized, what the musicians are doing. And I love that. And the singer, fantastic pose right now. Perfect with the movement of her dress. Perfect choice for the singer to have this kind of high-low dress. It works really well because, she was doing a lot of dancing at the beginning. This isn't a heavily vocalized song. There's a lot of music that doesn't necessarily have vocals. And so her keeping that stage presence and having a really flowy costume to go with it is just really good performance. It's just good performance. And then we talk about all the time the silence between the notes. The silence between the notes make the song, and this was perfect. It was just like you had this awesome guitar solo, awesome guitar duet, and then another awesome guitar solo, and then silence for just a second. And then we kind of go into, it sounds like a slight key change. Just a slight one. It's not a very dramatic one, but just enough to pick it up a little bit and letting the vocalist show off her range even more. And I really liked how they had her close up kind of superimposed like a lower opacity over the rest of the band in that shot. That was a really cool shot. That's nothing I've done in any of my music videos yet, but this is like the second time I've seen this because I believe it was also in the Nightwish video that is on my Patreon. They kind of did the same thing and it looked really, really cool. So now I'm trying to think of music videos that I could possibly utilize that effect because it's a really cool effect. So I love right here that now the guitar solo went to the blonde hair guitar player and she's doing a fantastic job. I absolutely love it. And I love how like the crowd is like basically a built-in choir for this part. I love it. I love it when a crowd is that engaged with the show and they know the songs that much. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. It's got to be such a great energy for the band to like have the crowd that engaged. Fantastic. This is what I miss about live music, man. I need to go to a live show. And now here we're back with her back on the piano. She's back on the piano playing. It's the piano with the rock band. I love it. I'm living for this kind of stuff. It's so well done. There's not much more to say. It's well done. Okay, I'm going to stop it right here just because I really liked how in the last scene, as the singer was kind of stepping towards the back of the stage, she had her arms in a very Swan. It just reminded me of like the snippets of the Swan Lake Ballet that I've seen of her arms. Nice touch as we fade to just piano. And we're back on the spotlight of just the piano. And then, yeah, the stage went black, and then it was just on the piano again. We started how we ended. I loved it. I mean, there's really not much more to say other than I love it when classical meets rock. It's really cool. I love, you know, that even rock musicians usually have a classical background, and when they can mix those two together, it's so awesome. Like I said, I loved a female ensemble. That's just something that you don't see every day. And the song rocked. The song rocked. It was really good. It had a really cool message. I liked it. I liked how we just kind of just melded so many cultures and influences together. So there's just really not much else to say other than great choice. Thank you for suggesting it. Yeah, I really liked it. So if you liked this kind of content, please leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things. It really helps out my channel. Like I said, follow me on all of my social media. Consider becoming a Patron member. Go listen to some of my songs. Check out my website where you can find more about me and you can find all of my music. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.